Hey everybody, welcome to Twin Talk, a video discussion show where twin brothers Chris and Kevin drink and draw. We'll talk about comic books, movies, and all things pop culture. We are your hosts, Chris Hart, Kevin Hart, and today we're going to be talking about the potential sequels of Zack Snyder's Justice League. Unless you were living under a rock, Zack Snyder's Justice League just debuted on HBO Max last week, and there's much to discuss. 4-hour movie. We have an entire video on that, but we're talking about the potential Snyderverse sequels that would have been a 5-part trilogy of Zack Snyder that seem to be scrapped at the moment, unless we #restore the Snyderverse. Yes, we're about a little over a week removed from the event that was Zack Snyder's Justice League, and a lot of us are asking, what's next? Is there anything next? So that's what we're here to talk about today. A couple articles and some research we did about what was going to be, what could be, and what our thoughts are on the subject. The movie ends on like 3 cliffhangers between Martian Manhunter and even the Atom cameo, which could lead into potential stories and franchises, solo movies with the Atom and Martian Manhunter. And then we got the Lex Luthor scene with Deathstroke that could have been the Ben Affleck Batman standalone film, which clearly, is not happening this moment. And clearly that nightmare alternate timeline reality that's been sprinkled throughout Zack Snyder's movies between BVS with that Flash scene, him coming back and saying, I'm too soon, Lois is the key. Now in Justice League, there was a couple of alternate timelines that we see between Wonder Woman dying, Aquaman dying, and obviously Lois' charred, body. She's looking like burnt toast on a Tuesday. And Superman grieving, which they clearly recycled those shots from Man of Steel, which I thought was fun. He worked with what he had. So we're going to dive into that. Lois Lane, Amy Adams, she's the key in this, as Joker puts it, poor Lois, how she suffered so, in this Vanity Fair article. Lois was the charred corpse that Superman tearfully held in Cyborg's vision from the middle of the movie, and Snyder explains that how this foreshadows the next 2 Justice League films, how he had in the works that Darkseid comes to Earth, Superman says to Batman, guard Lois, this is a war between me and Darkseid. If you can help me as a friend, keep Lois safe. In the midst of these alien attacks, Luthor aligns himself with the invader. Lex tells Darkseid that the key to Superman's weakness is killing Lois Lane. Snyder said for whatever reason, Batman fails, Darkseid comes back and kills Lois. Batman fails, he hesitates, they were in an argument. In other words, Batman is distracted and Lois dies as a result. Then it says, what were Lois and Bruce fighting about? Snyder didn't say specifically, but his original plan, nixed by Warner Brothers, was for Bruce Wayne and Lois Lane to have had a romantic relationship during the time that Superman appeared to be deceased. I hate this idea. Not digging that. I feel like Zack Snyder does everything possible to make Batman a douchebag.
Exactly, yeah.
Murderer.
See, this is where it kind of gets murky for me, because in BVS, obviously, Batman and Superman were at war, and by the end of the movie, they kind of come to terms with being good friends.
Potential teammates, yeah.
Because, both their moms have the same name.
Why did you say that name?
And then, so at the end of that movie, Superman sacrifices himself for the world, the greater good, his world, Lois Lane, and he dies. So this would make Batman, like you said, the biggest douche on the planet.
Scumbag.
Because not only did he pretty much help kill Superman the entire time he was trying to kill him, but then he goes and
porks his girl.
He porks his girl out while he's not even cold yet. So it's I don't understand what was this? Was this to have a deeper impact of why Bruce is so guilty over, trying to save
Why
Lois?
Superman would be pissed, because I'd be pissed.
That I'm okay with, because Superman, he says, Lois is my world, you're my world. She is literally the only thing that he has left to hold on to.
Yeah.
So if she dies, he has no hope left. So I can understand this evil Superman idea, especially because I think the article goes on to say that Darkseid would have had this anti-life equation that kind of removes the free will from people, and Superman would kind of just be like his minion. Yeah. So I'm okay with that.
The thing I don't get is why would you make that Bruce's kid? I feel like it's all set up right there for Clark and Lois to have a kid with the pregnancy test that we see in the movie, and then Bruce says congratulations to him at the end of the movie. So I feel like they set up Superman to have a pregnant Lois, and then maybe in the future, having a pregnant Lois die would set him off mentally
Too, because it's his unborn child.
To go psychopath and become evil Superman that we see. We do know from the information that we do have that this was part 3 of his 5-part epic that he was planning on doing with his whole Snyderverse of these DC characters. So he had 2 chapters or episodes, he said, left of the Justice League, and I'm pretty excited to see them now. Because
I really liked Zack Snyder's Justice League. Like, I keep rewatching it, and the more I watch it, the more I appreciate it. Obviously, there's a few little tweaks that could have been made, some plot holes, but
Yeah.
I mean, the man worked with what he had, and it was infinitely better than what we got in the theaters. I like this DC universe. I don't want it to just move on and have the Justice League be canon because it's foolish and it's just
no.
my heart's not in it.
Not my Justice League.
Yeah. I kind of want to see the Snyderverse restored. That's the
too.
hashtag now because now that the DC fans got the taste of that power,
Exactly.
to release the Snyder Cut, they want more now, and they're like, "We will stop at nothing. Snyderverse has been found." So who knows what the fans are gonna do? I honestly feel like Warner Brothers just wants to be done with this whole thing.
Yeah,
They
I
wanna
can
move
understand
on.
that, but I mean,
but listen,
you can't leave off like that though, especially tickling our testes that
yeah,
way.
but like,
between
if you're gonna be removed from the Snyderverse, that scrap the entire DC line you have.
Yeah.
Don't tease us with Jason Momoa as Aquaman, Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman.
it's so discombobulated otherwise.
And then have like, oh, we're moving on from Ben Affleck's Batman, we're moving on from Justice League, and it just makes no sense. It's like, so right there you lose Batman, you lose Superman, and like now they have plans for a new Superman movie that doesn't have Henry Cavill. They have the Robert Pattinson Batman movie, which exists in its own thing. So it's just like
that has me excited though.
yeah, of course it has me excited. But it's like, why can't we have the multiverse that they even tease in this movie, and that all these Warner Media corporate suits keep saying, we're excited for our multimedia multiverse of characters with Blue Beetle. It's like, no, nobody wants to see Blue Beetle. Like,
Our Man solo film,
Unbelievable.
without a proper Man of Steel sequel after how many years now?
yeah, it's like the Black Superman thing is cool, but let it exist side by side.
Or even Supergirl. Yeah, I'm okay with that.
Let that exist side by side with Joss Whedon, Zack Snyder's Justice League. So God forbid.
Yeah, I'm okay with them continuing, but if this whole Batman, Bruce Wayne, and Lois relationship and pregnancy debacle, this like, you know, I can't be doing this because it says like the intention was that Bruce fell in love with Lois and then realized that the only way to save the world was to bring Superman back to life. Like, that's so sloppy writing. I don't understand. So he had this insane conflict because Lois, of course, was still in love with Superman. And then he had this beautiful speech that he said to Alfred, I had never had a life outside the cave. Kind of like Dark Knight Rises, where he's like, that's what Alfred wants for him. And that's fine. That's fine. We should have Bruce have happiness because in the Justice League movies, there seemed to be no connection, not even a single exchange of dialogue between Bruce and Lois.
Yeah, I don't even think they ever speak.
This has to be like, you know, just an idea that was scrapped because it seems more that Bruce and Diana, Wonder Woman, which we would be like rooting for, like almost trying to ship that whole, you know, romance because they touch hands. And even towards the end in that one vision, Wonder Woman's got like, she's like dead. She's at the funeral.
Yeah.
She's got the coins over her eyes and everything. So that could be a reason why Bruce is so distraught too. Maybe he kind of fell in love with her. And
That would make more sense.
And that would make more sense of like, oh, like Mara's like at the end, she's like, oh, she lost Aquaman, which by the way, I think that was like Aqualad that got zapped by the Omega beams. It looked like that would have been
Oh,
cool.
that would have been sweet. Because that was definitely like Arthur that got killed.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I love they had like the king
the
crown on him.
crown,
Like, he
yeah.
looked sick. I was like, that's awesome. If that's Aqualad, bro,
Yeah,
that'd be sick.
that'd be awesome. Like that would just allude to future stuff that I'd be excited about. But she's like, "Oh, who have you ever loved? Who have you ever lost?" And obviously, Batman. You know, Joker even points out his parents, Robin.
Oh, he knows
and,
lost.
and he knows lost. And I was hoping to kind of have him have like this unhappy ending. Batman of now he's lost everything too with Diana. I don't know. That's just my opinion because I don't want to see this Bruce and Lois relationship because it makes no sense, and it would ruin Batman's character, in my opinion.
Yeah, the whole thing undermines him as a hero.
Especially since he just spent this whole arc, you know, coming to terms with Superman and having faith and trying to bring them together. He's the one that wants to bring Superman back to life in this
Yeah.
movie. He's like, do it. You know, like,
He feels guilty that he like spent so much time trying to kill him.
or I guess, you know, if this is the subplot that we haven't seen, like, you know, that he just feels guilty. He's like, dude, like, bring him back. Hopefully he'll forgive me.
Yeah, it's been 9 months.
Yeah, exactly.
If we time this right, he won't know.
Yeah, exactly.
That's my favorite part is the nightmare sequence. And honestly, like he talks about how the next movie would have been a nightmare. Like takes place in that nightmare world, and I want that.
That's
so
the movie
bad.
I think we all want, is like that
Yeah.
injustice type story. And Jack was trying to do the right thing of like leading up to this 5-part trilogy. We can't just have, you don't have
Did you say
ending.
Jack or Zach?
He said Jack.
I said Jack?
Yeah,
That's what Jack was trying to do.
it sounded like Jack. Hashtag release the Jack cut.
Release the Jack. And I feel like that's the movie that everyone wants to see, is that injustice, nightmare future where it's kind of like Infinity War, where it ends on a downbeat. And that was the original plan, is like
clearly we have that vision too with like even the Green Lantern Corps and Superman. We saw him kill Batman in BVS. He like lasers him and pushes his heart out, whatever.
Yeah, he definitely dies there.
He definitely dies there, but that could have been like one timeline, and that would have been the cool thing for them to play around with, is them kind of with the Speed Force. And Joker mentions it too. How many alternate timelines, will you have people die because you don't have the balls to do it yourself? And that would have made sense for Batman to sacrifice himself. I'm okay with Batman sacrificing himself because
later on,
in like at least one more movie, because he's towards the end of his career. Batman, he's 20 years in Gotham, and it would be like I said, like an Iron Man type arc of where he spent his entire life on the streets of Gotham, and now he sees Superman, Wonder Woman, Darkseid, all these like godlike beings, and he's got to armor up, vehicle up, and he would be the one to be like, okay, I have this contingency plan to keep the world safe, and I'm the one who's got the will to do it. So I'm okay with that. That would fit in if Batman sacrifices himself, because then it would tie into BVS, that Flash nightmare scene where he's like, Bruce, am I too soon? And that'd be cool to see how they tied back, like that future is them in this movie, and it would just be like mind-blowing.
That would have been awesome. I want to see all of that play out in a movie. Let that thing breathe, Because even, like, that's the one thing I'll say. Zack Snyder, he's really made this Nightmare Justice League thing, like, that's all him.
Yeah.
And, like, let him do that. Let him play with his DC toys there. And he can kind of go bonkers with it and make it crazy because it's his nightmare universe, And
I would love to see
I want to see it. Just give me 4 hours of that and I'll be happy.
I want to see that Earth, that Darkseid invasion, and like the hell on earth that it would be, and them trying to undo this reality and kind of failing over and over again until they get it right, which would be awesome to see. And that's what it says, like the third Justice League movie. The characters who appear in Bruce Wayne's dreams seem to be aware of the multiverse and potential happier endings. And it says, what happens in the post-apocalyptic world is Cyborg works on an equation to use a mother box to jump Flash back in time to warn Bruce about this moment where he didn't have the courage to sacrifice himself to save Lois, Snyder said. We've actually seen that moment already in BVS, which is what we were talking about. Once Bruce of the past realizes what he has to do, he doesn't fall short when Lois is in danger. So in that moment, he does the right thing and sacrifices himself, and that's where Batman would die. And I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
But then it says a new Batman rises. Darkseid's invasion, the fall of Earth, and the tragedy's reversal all happened fairly quickly after the events of Justice League, say within a few months, long enough for a child to be born shortly thereafter. So in the good, happy ending, Lois and Clark, they have their baby. And it says, this is another major spoiler from the Snyder Cut. Lois is pregnant at the end of that movie. The pregnancy test can be seen in her nightstand. Her pregnancy is another storyline Warner Brothers wanted to cut from the Snyder Cut before he left the project. He said, that was always my hope, but they made me do it, but he got it in, because that's just what Zack Snyder does, apparently.
Yeah. I like that. I like that he kind of gave like a big middle finger to the studio.
Yeah.
And just did his thing, because it's like, what does he have to lose,
But I don't like this idea, this new Batman, because then it says that it would be Lois and Clark's son, and they would kind of say, in Bruce's honor, we want you to become the Batman and take it. And like, one, not everyone can be Batman, and two, it kind of undoes what Man of Steel was trying to say. What if the son doesn't want to be Batman? What if he wants to be, what could he aspire to be greater than Batman? But like, that was the whole point of Man of Steel, was like that Jor-El wanted was his son to have free will. So why would they kind of force the cape and cowl on their son in honor? I don't know. That's just like
he said that it would be like an epilogue where it's like 20 years later, and they like bring him to the Batcave and be like, oh, your Uncle Bruce would have been proud of you, and then like it ends, credits, and that's the end of Zack Snyder's like Justice League DC epic, which I would be fine with, because like at that point, then you could be like, all right, scrap it, let's reboot, start fresh. And like at least let the man have his vision, but maybe I'm just a sucker for that Nightmare universe.
Yeah,
I just want to see that. And like even with the new Batman, like I feel like that's kind of cool to have Superman, like have his son become the new Batman. Because he said he wouldn't have powers. No,
he wouldn't have powers.
He said that he wouldn't have powers, and
so no Superboy, just Batboy.
Yeah. Reboot the DC.
Exactly. That's the thing, is it's so confusing for no reason. Like, it doesn't need to be. Just stick with the comic accuracy and kind of, use that as fuel, and don't try and do something and reinvent the wheel. Like, make it your own thing, but like don't go so like left field with it. Like, Terry McGinnis, like even if you wanted to do like these contracts and these actors age out, go with a Terry McGinnis route or something, and like kind of build that up.
People have been begging for a Batman Beyond movie,
and have an older
years.
Batman from like a multiverse, maybe like a Michael Keaton or something they're trying to do. But I don't know, man. At this point, like there needs to be an alternate reality where WB and DC succeed in their extended universe, because this one is just so convoluted. Snyder Cut gave me hope, and once again, I'm just like, dealing with that pain and the trauma of wanting more or not wanting more,
and never getting it or being satisfied. Mm-hmm. I will say though, like, I'll at least be happy that he got to finish his trilogy
for Justice League
of Man of Steel, Batman vs Superman, and Justice League. Mm-hmm. So like, there's peace in that. But now it sets up. Everybody wants to see the potential because he set up new movies. Mm-hmm. They're going into that multiverse direction anyway. So why not just have it exist side by side and just tell one-off stories? Have the Snyderverse in its own pocket here. Have Battinson over here. Blue Beetle way over here. It's like they want, and then Black Adam. This movie's been in the making for 20 years or something like that. I'm pretty sure The Rock signed the contract like as soon as he did Scorpion King.
And the good thing is that he's just constantly getting bigger and bigger.
Yeah. He's just gonna overbulk and never be able to play. But it's just like, it's just too confusing. So to me, as much as I want to see like the Snyderverse restored, I feel like the best thing to do is just brainwash everything, like kind of like Men in Black with the zzz, and like just reboot everything. Like, let's forget about all this. Fire everybody. That includes Gal Gadot, Jason Momoa, because you can't. Which is
unfortunate.
Yeah, it's unfortunate because like it's such great casting, great costumes, good music. Could you imagine if they got Zack Snyder, Patty Jenkins, Andy Muschietti, and James Wan, like all just let them do their thing and let them sit at a table and be like, all right, so you guys can do this, this, and this, but it has to lead to this and keep it here. And just
have a plan.
Let their talents speak for themselves, because they're all such talented people, and they just didn't do that.
Maybe the power of the fans will get us something, and I'd be okay, because these plans they came alongside Jim Lee. He did drawings for these kind of potential plot notes, and so if we don't get another movie, I would be totally fine with maybe a standalone graphic novel delving into this story. I would buy the crap out of that.
I would be fine with even like a 2-hour animated movie of the Snyderverse and just wrap it up there. Like, have a nightmare movie of that. Like, that'd be sick, because Flashpoint Paradox could be that nightmare movie, but live action, And I just want to see that, to be honest with you.
The real nightmare is Warner Brothers.
Yeah.
What do you guys think about the potential plans for these Justice League sequels? Would you be up for it, or do you want to see the DCEU kind of reboot and go in a fresh new direction? Let us know in the comment section. Anyways, that about wraps up today's episode of Twin Talk. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, comment below to join the discussion, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more content. We'll see you next time. Peace!